Right, it's the Northern Boy Show. Hello.
Lovely cake.
Beautiful.
Okay, today, what are we talking about? What are we
Cake.
talking about?
You were talking about cake.
Okay, sorry.
You know,
Yeah, the
I'm enjoying
producer's
it.
just given us some lemon cake. Cheers.
it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
going to talk about aliens and something to do with fucking dimensions.
Aliens and parallel universes or alternate existences or some of the shit. Some of
Some of the bollocks. Which basically we're talking, today, folks, we're talking bollocks.
So, no change there then.
Yeah, which is, actually, what we've been doing this whole time is just talking absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
We get given subjects to talk about, like fucking
Yeah, but we don't-
insect eyes and all that shite. But basically, what we're doing is talking bollocks.
Yeah.
So why don't we just talk?
Yeah, but hang on.
just
Hang on,
talk
but we're
bollocks.
highly qualified in talking bollocks.
Yeah.
We talk bollocks on stage and people love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
talk bollocks. I'm also good at talking shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, producer, thanks for the drizzle.
Yeah.
Homemade, folks.
Yeah.
Homemade
By his
with
own fair hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's have a taste of this.
It's called Bake Your Cake and Eat It.
Yep. I already looked them up. So we're going to be answering some questions.
Yeah.
So, what's the first question, Mr. Producer?
First question is from Uncle John, username there, and it's who is their favourite historical figure?
Well, that's a difficult one,
Oh,
isn't it?
Jesus.
Oh, well, so that was easy, that, wasn't it?
How about historical figure?
That was actually very good, Kev. Very good. Right. Well, for me, this takes some thinking about, really.
Yeah, I am.
A little bit, yeah.
And how far in history?
Well, yeah.
Oh, he's a deep thinker.
Robin Hood.
Well, do you know what? That's a good choice.
Yeah.
Robin
That's a
Hood.
good choice. When I was a kid, I used to watch Robin Hood on the telly every Saturday evening. It's about, I don't know, about 5. Richard Green.
Yeah.
Robin
Do you remember
Hood,
that?
Robin
Yeah.
Hood.
Yeah.
Where the opening sequence, the guy shoots an arrow to a tree, and as the arrow's arriving at the tree, you can see a telegraph pole in the background. Brilliant, that
I was
was.
green with envy.
Brilliant, yeah.
Or was I?
This is very tasty cake,
It's
by the way.
lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
You're welcome.
Absolutely the best cake I've had today.
If,
I hope there's more.
if you'd like to try some, just write in,
Yeah.
and we'll get the producer to.
Producer.
round and make you one.
Yeah.
No chance.
So yeah, go
I've
on.
got to say, the Robin Hood one, I think it's a good one. I mean, when you're a kid, when you're a boy, because I don't think, without being misogynistic or anything like that, I don't think girls were quite into Robin Hood. Maybe they were into Maid Marian because she was a nice girly girl. Or you might have had the odd, sort of uncertain chap who would prefer to do that. But it was, when I was a kid, it was a definite boy thing to be a Robin Hood fan.
That's if he exists, isn't it? So
Well,
it's just something that came to my head.
Yeah, well, he is, suppose a legendary figure, which means he might be real and he might not. But the concept of him,
Oh, and Henry V.
Henry V.
Henry V.
Why,
yeah.
why the fifth? He had but 8 to choose from. Why the fifth?
The fifth, because he won the Battle of Agincourt.
Oh, right.
He kept the French out.
Right.
Nothing against the French.
My horse,
but-
my horse.
No, that was Richard III.
Oh, right, okay.
He was
You're good, you are.
he had a bit of
Yeah.
an ump.
Pretty cool.
Richard III, he was Lancastrian, and he lost to Henry Tudor, and that's where you get the. You get everything?
Combined rows.
That's where you get the combined roles. He brought them together, so they stopped fucking fighting each
Yeah,
other.
that was quite clever, that. And the Tudor rose, of course, is the emblem of Sutton Coldfield.
Is
Yep.
it really?
Did you not know that?
Absolutely. You didn't,
Yeah,
did you? Yeah.
I've got a rugby shirt.
Why is it the Sutton Coldfield?
I have no idea.
It's just where has to be, doesn't it? Special sometimes.
Is that where the no, the battle wasn't here,
One
was
of the
it?
Henrys of the 7th or 8th apparently slept over in Sutton because he came up here hunting in Sutton Park.
Yeah, and he loved it.
The proliferation of deer. So they,
All right.
yeah. Yeah.
That's where Deer
I
Hunter
think
came from.
if there were a Robin Hood, I think I would fancy quite fancy being that kind of a bit of a rebel, relatively safe because you can run off into the woods and hide. You played with bows and arrows where the enemy couldn't hear you coming.
Oh, and I've got another one. Oliver Cromwell.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver Cromwell, yeah.
He was a bit of a lad.
Yeah, yeah.
He was a very naughty lad.
Chopped the king's head off, gave us parliament and the idea of democracy and all that.
Yeah.
Well, ho, eventually.
He wouldn't.
Yeah,
But I mean, his
yeah.
methods were terrible. What he did to Ireland was unforgivable.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean, well, he just, what was it, Waterford and Wexford just annihilated them.
It was disgusting, really, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I didn't know about it. I
Well,
just
there
knew
you go.
that
So that's why I'm loath. I mean, I think Napoleon is very sort of worthy of admiration. It's just that he was a bit sort of too ambitious, if you like, with like Hitler taking over the world. So
and that's why Wellington
Wellington stepped in and
got the cane out of the cupboard and gave him a damn good thrashing.
Good thrashing.
You know.
Yeah.
Here's another one of arriving at the airport, look, see?
Okay, Kev.
You're giving us a lot of tumbleweeds moments today, Kev.
Yeah, but I'll just sit out and watch them through the window.
Right, okay. Moving swiftly. Oh, hang on. So, Uncle John, hope that answers your question.
Right, we've got another question here. This is from Acorn221. And this is, what do the Northern boys think about Americans?
Love them. Love them.
Right now,
Are we allowed to talk about America?
I don't know.
I think you can talk about it as a place.
Okay, but not about what we're doing.
No, now we've sowed the seeds now, haven't we?
No, we're not.
All right. Well,
Kev says no.
Okay, fine. To be honest, whatever's going on in the near future, I love Americans in general. All right, because I've been there a few times, and they always make me and my wife feel welcome. They are so friendly, easygoing, laid back. There's no obvious paranoia like it's portrayed sometimes on the box. And even a few years ago, I went to New York, where I was told, oh, New Yorkers are miserable, the buggers. They don't want to go to New York, they're horrible. They were the best. They were fabulous.
I found them very warming and helpful, Americans.
Good.
When I was out there.
Yeah. And American service in terms of restaurants or whatever, to me, is second to none. They cannot do enough for you. Honestly,
True.
It's brilliant. Generally, the food there, I love the food there in America. If I had a choice, I'd try and spend 6 months a year there, but I'd have to find the right place. I mean, I've got to tell you this, right? For years, I've tried to get my wife to move abroad somewhere, right? Because I just got fed up with this part of the world. She wouldn't go at the time because her mum was still alive. Fair enough. Anyway, we on holiday in America, and we've just trimmed up the Pacific Highway on the west coast, the one that's right next to the water. Not the motorway that goes on the inside, right up there. And we were desperate for breakfast because our motel hadn't done bed and breakfast, just bed. So we said, well, the next village, town, whatever you call it, we'll pop in and get some breakfast. And we saw this sign pointing down this road. I can't remember the name of the town, unfortunately. Well, I tell you what, when we drove into this village, it was a village. It was like going back in time.
Really?
Honestly, they had petrol pumps on the pavement that you worked like this.
Oh, wow.
Literally, pump.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, we found this little sort of mini mall, open air thing, with 2 or 3 restaurants and a couple of gift shops and a couple of other things. So we stopped and had breakfast there. It was the first time I ever had what they call lounge eggs. Eggs Benedict. First time I'd ever had eggs Benedict, and I was hooked on it. Anyway, we're driving out to this lovely little place, and my wife says to me, "Do you know what?" She said, "I could live there." So I says, "Can I have that in writing?" Because I could have. It was so peaceful, you know, and there was everything was so languid and lazy and easygoing. There was no, you know, the Americans live a stressful life, generally speaking, but not in this. Oh, sorry. So yeah, that was lovely. That was. Would have been around a bit. I like America.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful, Patrick.
Well, you've been there as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I have.
Didn't you live there for a while?
I did.
Yeah.
Go on.
So California. Didn't want to come home, mate. It was that nice.
Yeah.
And it was just everywhere you went, and they just loved our accent.
Wow, that's the thing, isn't it? Oh, I'm going to tell you a story very quickly. So me and my friend are in...
Another story.
Me and my
All
friend
right.
are in New York. We're trying to pitch a business at the general public by, you know, canvassing the streets with bloody leaflets and doing little this and that and the other. Anyway, with about 2 days to go before it's time to go home, my mate said, "Look, we better pop and get some presents for the girls, you know." Okay, then. So there's this shop. And it's a bit... I don't know how to describe it, really. It's a bit like Waterstones or maybe Totally Express, one of those. Like it's a stationery shop that did toys and things and gifts. So anyway, so me and him wander in, and we're wandering around like looking at what's there, and a lovely chap comes over and says, "Anything I can help you with, you know, chaps?" I said, "Well, we're just browsing at the moment. I've no doubt you can help us in a minute when we're ready." "Oh my God, you guys are English." "Yeah." "Oh my God. Hey guys, we got some English guys here." So we suddenly get surrounded by the entire staff of the place because they're all students.
Yeah.
So where are you from? Where are you from? So we give me some background, and so he says to me, "So what do you two do?" I said, "Oh, we're both teachers." So my mate's a teacher of the deaf. Oh, wow. I said, "I teach sport." "Oh, you teach sport? What sport do you teach?" I said, "Oh, soccer, rugby, cricket." "Cricket? Cricket? Isn't that the game where you stop for tea?" I says, "Well, yeah, but that's on the short game." "What?" I said, "Oh, yeah, in the long game, they stop for lunch as well." Well, they were pissing themselves. Hang on, what time do you start? At 10:30, 11 o'clock. We stop for lunch at 1. Great. We stop for tea at 4:30. We finish at 6:30 or 7. These kids are pissing themselves laughing. I said, "Oh, by the way, those games last a bit longer. They're 3 days." They go, "What? 3 days? They play a game for 3 days?" Yeah. I said, and that's just the locals. The internationals, which are called test matches, it's 5 days. They play for 5 days. Oh, and by the way, they take Sunday off. Because in those days they did. So these kids are rolling around the bloody floor laughing. You play a 5-day game but have Sunday off.
Yeah, because they go to church, some people.
Well, it wasn't that. Lord's Day observance was big in those days.
Yeah.
I said, and by the way, after 5 days, sometimes nobody wins. Well, that was a killer.
Yeah.
You mean you play 5 days of cricket and nobody wins? Correct. That was the most entertaining hour I ever had, honestly.
Sounds
So yes, we
wonderful.
love the Americans.
Great. And our final question before we move on to aliens. This is from Gray, and it's: how many ties does Kev own, and how does he look after them?
Here we go. Over to you,
What was that?
Kevlar.
How many ties have you got?
Oh, ties. Well, that's a bit of a question.
Well, give them a bit of an answer.
Yeah, I feel a bit tied up now, but
Tumbleweed time.
I've just was brought up to look smart and wear suits. You know, that's the way my granddad and my dad, they were all in suits.
Yeah. So give them a ballpark figure on the number of ties you've got.
About 15.
15, is that all? I think you got more.
Oh,
I think you got 20.
I probably have.
Right, okay, fine.
I'm a bit tied up with her.
You said that one, don't
Yeah,
you?
no,
done that
don't
one,
try it
Kevin.
again.
No, don't
Yeah.
try again. No. Yeah, the thing
Try
about...
it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. That's all right. The thing about the tie thing is, he's got one particular tie that I love, and it's the one he wears mostly when we're doing videos. Every now and again, he, shall we say, misplaces it. So he has to wear an alternative, which upsets me a teeny bit. So we have to try and get him to look after it by hanging it on a hanger with his suit that he wears.
Has he lost it? He's always had the right tie on, hasn't he? I don't think I've ever seen him.
Well, he's occasionally had one that's very similar,
Oh, no.
which he can get away with.
Yeah.
Pulled
Yeah,
away,
yeah, yeah.
got away with that then.
It's me spare.
Yeah, well, that's good. But there's no, you got no regime. You got no regime for looking after it.
Not
You
really.
try your hardest not to spill egg down it when you're having breakfast.
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Or soup when you're having lunch.
Yeah, and I wrap it with bacon.
Tumbleweeds on.
Great. Well, thank you very much, guys. Keep
that
your
it,
questions coming in through the Cindy World Discord, and we're going to move on now to aliens.
Aliens. Yeah, aliens.
So it's aliens and what? What's that other fucking
Alternate universes. Alternate something or others. Anyway, I'm quite interested in this. I mean, the alien
What, in
thing-
aliens or-
Well, yes. Yes. I mean, it's very hard to believe that a place as big as the universe only supports life on one teeny rock in the middle of one of the biggest constellations in existence. So you've got to think that maybe somewhere else there is, life. We would call it alien because it's not on this planet. It wouldn't necessarily be, two-headed, six-eyed green monsters. They could just be the same as us, but maybe more advanced.
They
or
walk
whatever.
amongst us.
Well,
You reckon?
but also...
Well, look at you.
Well, of course. What can I say, folks?
But also, I mean, there are those that believe that this race or races do exist and are so advanced that they can, be around without us noticing or seeing.
You know where the classic alien look that we have with the big eyes,
Oh, yeah.
or like that you see on films?
Yeah.
That only started, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Only started to get that look in films and things after the suspect crash
Yeah,
of
Roswell.
Area 51.
Roswell.
Before
Yeah.
that, they were all like metal objects. You know, remember them coming out with things coming out of their eyes.
It
and
makes
all that.
it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Really, whether that Roswell thing was a bit more real. They covered it up, which is the obvious thing to do, because as soon as aliens are discovered, it could create mayhem with beliefs. Well, with anyone who's got any kind of belief that we're the only people around. But, yeah, whatever.
Do you think we're the only people around, Patrick?
I'm open-minded about it at the moment.
Well, I pray that there's intelligent life out there, because it's fuck all on this planet.
That's one known.
No, I can't take credit for that.
No.
That's the great Eric Idle. Here's to you,
But
Eric.
present company accepted, Norman.
No, it's
I honestly would like to meet an alien. I enjoy some of these alien programs. My favourite one is the Big Bang Theory. You ever watched
all right.
that?
Yeah.
Oh God, the
Aliens
they're aliens. Did you not know?
in the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
They're not aliens.
They bloody are.
Yeah.
I think you've got the wrong program there. The Big Bang Theory is the ones where they're scientists and they work in.
Yeah, they're scientists. They're not. They're aliens. They're aliens who are scientists. That's where it's
Where have
called.
you got this from? The Big Bang Theory, they work at MIT and they're researching. It's got Sheldon in it.
Sheldon. Yeah.
And Leonard.
Yeah. I'm sure they're not from Earth. I'll have to check. I'll have to check that one.
Yeah.
They're on Earth, but blah blah. Anyway, if they're not aliens, then I do apologise for upsetting people. But the reason that programme is my favourite is that Sheldon is. I've worked with a boy who's just like Sheldon.
All right,
He's
yeah.
got Asperger's syndrome, right?
All right.
Because that's what's wrong with Sheldon.
The writers say that he's not got anything, he's just quirky. They don't want to say he's got something.
No, they can't. No, they can't. Yeah. I understand that, but you know what? Every symptom of what he does is Asperger's. Anyway, whatever. But no, I do. Oh, I tell you what, I did used to like Mork and Mindy.
Oh, Christ,
That
now
was
you're going back.
Brilliant.
The great Robin Williams.
Yeah,
I used to like Morecambe and Wise.
They were aliens, were they?
It's like,
Or were they from a different dimension? Just to keep us on subject, Kev, you know.
joking. You carry on.
Sorry, that threw me slightly.
I thought I might.
Yeah, Mork and Mindy was one of my favourite alien things. I tell you what, I really enjoyed was the X-Files.
I never watched it.
Oh, God.
No, but I know the story.
The trouble is, it's one of those frustrating ones, like The Fugitive. Was it The Fugitive or...
Yeah, the one-armed man.
Yeah, or what's the other thing? With Patrick McGowan.
The prisoner.
Yeah, that was frustrating the way... Because you're hoping each week that you get the answer. And with the X-Files, you never bloody did.
Yeah, well, you did with the prisoner. He got out.
Oh,
At
did
the
he?
end, yeah.
Oh, yes, I remember, because there was a series after that.
But then what happened was, if you remember, I hope people have seen it, because I don't think you can see it anyway now. If you remember the way the doors used to lock in the village, you'd shut the door and then you'd hear a clunk because it got locked. When he escaped, he went into his flat, and when he shut the door, the last thing he saw in it, you just heard clunk of his flat door. So it was like he was still in the village and they caught him.
Yeah.
You know, but that was brilliant. He was number one.
Yeah.
Bit of a cop-out for the ending when you found out who number one was. Well, let's forget that. Anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, X-Files was probably one of my favourite science fiction. I mean, the alien thing was always sort of in the background there with them. But I mean, E.T. was quite a lightweight.
Oh yeah, that was a huge hit, wasn't it?
Wasn't it? Yeah, yeah. But I think that was more of a film for kids, really. Because it is a kid's adventure, isn't it? You know, you find an alien in your garden and you make friends with it, and his bike flies. Brilliant. But so, I mean, it can be if you do think about it too much, it can be a bit scary because if they do turn up, we can't do a lot about it, can we?
Well, if they've got the technology to get here, well, we're not going to be able to defend ourselves against them.
Not really.
But then again, why do we think they're going to be aggressive? That says more about us than them.
Well, it probably does. Yeah, I think the more intelligent you become, the more you realise that fighting's stupid.
Well, that's one of the things that they say, isn't it? Well, they're not going to visit us until we stop fighting amongst ourselves. It's like the stupid kids in the scruffy end of the universe. They're just scrapping all the time. You don't let your kids go to that neighbourhood.
I can help it. Yeah.
Stay well away.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you. I think we were brought up in those kind of neighbourhoods. Initially, anyway. Well, you came from Salford, didn't you?
Yeah, very, 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 very originally.
Yeah. How old were you when you left?
Oh, I can't remember. Well, I was always sort of popping down there because I had relatives there.
Oh.
But they took me out of Salford. I was only 18 months.
Oh, right. You wouldn't remember.
But yeah, so that was another dimension.
Nice one. Nice transition, I like that.
Yeah, that was cool. Smooth, that, wasn't it? Smooth, as they say. Smooth dimension.
Well,
dimension? Transition. Well, fuck off.
But whatever. But that sort of opens up the next part of the discussion, really, because one of the first programs I saw that was to do with alternate stuff was I can't remember it, but it was called now. There was a bloke who would go back in time, and it'd be somebody else, and sometimes it'd be a woman.
Oh, I remember that. That's oh, friggin' hell. Yeah, he'd look in the mirror and he'd see who it was.
He'd change.
Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap. That was the one. Yeah, Quantum Leap.
Sunday evenings. I think I remember that was.
I watched that. I thought that was fascinating because that was a parallel universe thing.
Then he had to work out why he'd gone into that person.
It was there for a reason. It was always there for a reason to try and change. I think
it was the same actor that played Face in the A-Team. I think.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it. But there was another program come on recently to do with somebody transferring in time. Except when he transferred, he always ended up naked.
All right.
And throwing up.
Charming.
And it's quite funny because he was in a garden, and this little girl of about 9 found him, saw him, and he said, "Oh, don't come too near." He said, "I've got no clothes on." "Why not?" "Well, I don't actually know." "Go and tell your mummy or daddy that I'm here." Blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so they clothe him and stuff. He's there for a little while, then he disappears again.
All right.
Right. He's doing this time travel thing. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. He's doing it. It's just happening to him. But then he goes back. He goes back, but forward from there. Meets her again.
Oh, I know.
And
what
marries
you're talking.
her.
Yeah, it was a book, a really successful book. The Time Traveller's Wife.
That's the one. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, they turned it into a film, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've read the book, I take it?
Yeah, and he... no, I don't read.
He just looks.
Yeah, and when he disappears, he's just a pile of clothes.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And she doesn't know when he'll turn up again.
Yeah.
Because, I think when he first meets her, she doesn't have any recollection of him because he'd met her in the future, but not in the past.
Right.
So when he met her for the first time, he knew her, but she didn't know him.
Right.
And then when he met her again, she knew him and could remember him from a really weird and clever...
Yeah, it was...
Shit.
I actually had to start watching it after a while because I didn't like the way it was going.
No, it's good. It finishes all right, don't worry.
Oh, good, okay. I might read the book. But this... I've done a lot of reading in terms of... I know it sounds ridiculous, but in terms of quantum physics. Only simple stuff, okay? Only simple stuff. But one of the things that fascinated me was where scientists ping a single photon of light, right, at a wall, and one photon of light goes through this hole, or it might even go through 2 holes, but ends up being with the result of 2 things at the other end.
Oh, yeah.
So where is the photon when it goes through this thing?
Yeah, I've heard about that. How
Yeah.
the same thing can exist in 2 places at the same time.
Yeah,
I've heard about that.
But-
When I started trying to figure it out, I've only got a simple brain, folks, and it just kind of made it go a bit. But it started to hurt, you know.
But there's another theory that in one of these books, this guy got this. How many universes are there? Well, we think it's unlimited. In other words, there's one that we know of, and then there's alternative ones. They're going to be called alternative ones that exist in parallel. Okay, fine. And this is perhaps this can be, I don't know, maybe tested out or found out. I don't know whether you can do it or not. But apparently, this guy's got his theory. For example, in the morning when you walk out of your front door, if you turn left, the rest of your day is in one universe, And if
All
it
right.
turns right,
Yeah.
you'd spend the day in a different universe. I'm thinking, well, yeah, okay, I can see that.
What if you
but-
go straight on?
Well, I think that would be a third universe.
okay.
The universes are based on your decision, which it's a good theory, but I couldn't pursue it beyond there because I can't remember how it went. But I remember watching a film called Sliding Doors.
Oh, yeah, I know that
And I
one. Where
thought
she
that-
misses the train and then she catches the train.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was quite interesting because that was almost like parallel universes.
Yeah, what would happen if...
It was alternative existences. Yeah.
It's like these are the kind of conversations when you have when you're slightly pissed in the pub, innit? You know, you just start these. Yeah, like I said, we're talking bollocks.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the alternative universe is quite an interesting theory.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It is that what if I have not turned left and I wouldn't have met the wife. So why didn't I turn right?
Yeah.
No, all that kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've got in my head. I've got a book / film to do with decisions like that. It's based on Sliding Doors. But it's just embryonic at the moment.
You're going to write a book. Interesting.
But it's an idea for a film, he said.
Well, it could be a film as well. Yeah, it could be a film as
Eventually.
well. Yeah.
But it's always the book first, isn't it?
Don't know. Anyway, I'll work
the
on
film
that one.
follows up.
But I'm interested. You know, if you call the decision making the alternative universe. If when I was 5 I decided to do that and not that 5, then how would that have affected the future? Right, because there are 2 alternatives. And it was, like when I was 11, I made a big decision when I was 11. Right, I shouldn't have been allowed to, but I did because I was at a junior school that has never had children past their 11 plus until the year before I took mine. The year before I took mine, 3 boys passed, no girls. The year I took mine, 8 of us passed, 5 girls, unheard of, 3 boys. So that meant I passed to the grammar school. And the choice was of 2. The local one, which was really, really, really well thought of, and it was like walkable, or the nearest Catholic grammar school, which was 20 miles away. It was a bus ride. And my decision was made on the fact that the 20 miles away one played football. And the local one played rugby. And I did not fancy playing rugby. And that was a mistake. Now, it was a mistake because I never got in the school football team that I went to, except twice. And once was because the teacher had forgot to pick the team, right? Because he was a dopey sod, and he just grabbed 11 of us from some kind of a do that was on that night. I was chuffed to bits to play. We got beat 10-0 by Stand Grammar School.
Well, you're still bitter.
Yes. And the second time I was in the lower 6th, and we played our local rivals, ran 3 football teams at senior level, 1st, 2nds and 3rds. That was the only time we put a 3rd 11 out, and I played for them. But when I was 16, a bloke turned up to teach chemistry, who was also a rugby player, and he came onto the games field on a Wednesday afternoon, and I was well established as Group Z. Bit like yourself. Didn't get picked. Didn't get picked. So there's about, I don't know, 8 of us, 10 of us playing 5-a-side. Which is, that's fine by me. I was enjoying having a kick about. And this bloke comes over. He says, right, he said, I need a couple more for rugby. I said, oh dear, okay. I don't want to. He says, why not? I says, oh, I don't fancy tackling or being tackled. He said, it's touch. What does that mean? There's no tackling. It's just you touch, you put the ball down and you get rid of it. Oh, okay, I'll give it a go. So couldn't believe it. I had no idea. I had no idea what I could do with a rugby ball. All right. I'm not kidding. I scored 4 tries in the first 15 minutes. Right. And they couldn't even touch me. They might tackle me. So he said, I thought you hadn't played before. I says, I haven't. He says, you're playing now. There's a game Saturday. I says, that won't be touched, will it? He says, no. But they've got to catch you to tackle you. He says, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Anyway, played, scored 4 tries. We won 41. We won 41-0.
So in a parallel universe, you're
Well, that was it.
a huge rugby star.
Well, I think, yeah, well, exactly. If I'd gone to the rugby playing school, I'd have been a county player.
Ah.
I know that because I went to the county trials for Cheshire, even though I was at school in Lancashire. And the selector came to me after a couple of games. He went, I haven't seen you before. I said, well, I haven't seen you before. What school did you go to? I said, Zavarian College. He went, that's Manchester. Why aren't you at Lancashire trials? I said, oh, I live in Macclesfield. He said, well, why don't you go to King's? I said, oh, well, it's a Catholic school. Oh, that was the end of the conversation. That was it, gone. But the guy I played against, the guy who was against me, all right, I ran drinks around him, and yet he got in the team.
Ah, right. So you,
Crazy.
Kev, any parallel universes you'd in?
Can't think of any, mate.
This is a parallel universe for him, right? 2 years ago, well, he had a car then, so he could get out and about. But he didn't know what rap was.
No.
He didn't know what rap was.
Oh, I see.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I kind of offered him the opportunity to help out with stuff, he jumped at the opportunity, and that's how his sliding door worked. He says, yeah, go on then. And here we are, 2 years later.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
I became a rap artist.
Yeah, you're full of rap.
Yeah. So
There you go.
that's your alternative, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Yeah, this one with me as well, another regret.
What's
I was
that?
very, very young, very shy. And I was having a birthday party under this girl that I really liked. And I walked up to her door. If I knew where she lived, walked up to the door, just about to knock on the door to ask her if she'd come to my birthday party and all that lot, you know. And I thought, oh, I can't ask her, and walked away. Didn't ask her. And I think, what if I'd have knocked on the... Because I knew she liked me, that's the weird thing.
Yeah.
If I'd have knocked on the door, where would I be now, eh?
I got a worse one than that. There's this girl. We used to go to school on a bus for 20 miles. The girls got on and came off, Anyway, this one girl I really quite fancied, and I eventually plucked up courage to ask her for a date. But she lived in Manchester, I lived in Maxfield, so we met halfway, you know, because I was only 16. So I was so embarrassed at standing outside this bloody cinema on my own. You know. So I kind of wandered away a little bit. I thought, well, I'll just wait for the bus and watch her getting off the bus. Watched. I'm fucking glad I didn't, blah, blah, blah. Monday on the bus, where were you? So what do you mean, where were you? I said I was in Mum's sort of the thing. Never saw you. I said, well, I never saw you. Well, I was there. I said, well, I didn't want to stand outside, so I walked down a bit. Oh, well, I didn't want to get off outside, so I walked up a bit. So we both had the same idea, but we missed each other.
Wow, dear.
Yeah.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Okay, so, aliens.
Well, yeah, go back to aliens if you like. I'll tell you one of my favourite alien television things was that the girl with the twitchy nose.
Oh, Bewitched.
Bewitched. I mean, I guess that's something I would love to do. Marry an alien that could do that. That'd be so much fun.
Well, she was a witch.
Oh, she was an alien then.
No, she was a witch.
Well, I suppose similar
Close
thing.
enough,
Isn't it?
close
Similar,
enough,
similar
close
thing.
enough.
I wouldn't
She
mind
could do-
marrying an alien that could do stuff like that anyway. And I say, listen, darling, I'd like egg chips and peas, please. And she just goes, there it is. Instant food. Yeah, I think I quite enjoy that. Yeah, I mean, it's a fascinating subject, really. I mean, there are, if you read the books, the science books, there are those who say, well, it's got to be so far away because otherwise we'd see them. But then again, everywhere's so far away.
Well, it's also the fact that we're 4 billion years old, and so there could have been,
Could have come and gone.
Yeah, but they've been massive. They've travelled all over the universe, spacecraft and everything. But then they've died off, as in we will,
Is the planet 4 billion years old?
Yeah, well, the Big Bang was 4 billion years. Was it 4 billion years?
Oh, no, you lost me on that one.
Yeah, I think it was 4 billion years ago, yeah. Yes, that's why we're still expanding.
Yeah.
Because it's gone boom, and we're still going away. Apparently.
Yeah.
Clever dick, aren't I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking more than that.
Yeah. Oh, and I tell you, here's the thing. Speaking of music and alien films, Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great film. I really like that film. Which is all based on... Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know where that music comes from? Right. John Williams. I'm allowed to say his name, aren't I?
Yeah.
He, very clever man. Very, very clever man. Takes his inspiration from... No, that's the composer of the music.
Is that the same guy?
He's no.
Okay.
He's also called John Williams. And he likes to get his inspiration from the contents of the films. And in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, the lead character, played by Richard Dreyfuss, says, they're showing Pinocchio at the cinema. We should take the kids to go and see Pinocchio. It's my favourite film. And it's just a little line in it, and then it just all goes away, and he sees the spaceships and all that. Look. And then, as we know, famously, in the film, the spaceships go bum, 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 bum. And it's only because I was watching it one time, and I was watching the end credits, and it's playing that music, and it keeps playing it until in the very, very last moment of the film, John Williams lets you know where he got the inspiration for those 5 notes. And it comes from When You Wish Upon a Star. Bum, 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 bum. Except he drops an octave and things. Isn't that clever, eh?
Really clever, yeah.
There you go, folks. Tune in next week for more bollocks from me.
With Norm.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Coughing with my beer in me, that's not a good idea.
I don't want to waste it.
No.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's a great film, because that's based on all sort of things that were reported, isn't it? Like, at the very beginning, if they find that fleet of planes that went missing, and they're all still almost as if they're brand new, and they find a huge ship in the middle of a desert, and
Is this from Close Encounters?
yeah, it's the very beginning.
Right.
They find all these things that were reported missing,
Right.
and like years and years ago. Yeah, and you find out at the end why. But I'm not going to say the end of that just in case.
See, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
But it is.
Everyone's seen it, I think.
Yeah, but it is like, what, how many years old now?
So would the discovery of an alien or aliens, would it change your life?
No, because it didn't.
No. Oh, it didn't when they turned up?
No, well, I married one.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. It is funny you should say that, because I keep calling my wife an alien, honestly, because she's got this gift of the super taster thing, right? And I mean, you'd think it'd be a nice thing to have, to be a super taster. You can taste it.
Oh, I can taste
it's a
this, yeah.
curse. It's a bloody curse, honestly. You can give her half a dozen versions of the same product.
Oh,
And
right.
she'll give you half a dozen reasons why they're different.
That's amazing.
Honestly.
That's
She
amazing.
gets to the stage now, right, where we go to a supermarket and I get a batch of, let's say, porridge or whatever, and she'll check the thing on the front and she'll try it out. She'll go, ooh, I like that. Puts the coat on, buggers off out. So where are you going? So we'll get another dozen of these, they're great. Right?
All right.
This batch is better than that batch we've got in the cupboard. That's going to say. So she's a batch freak. Honestly, she's a batch freak. When we get our products, when we get our products come through, I always have either the chocolate version or the latte version. And so when one comes, she'll go, "Oh, can I have a little mouthful of that new one?" All right, and she'll go, "Oh, this isn't as good as batch L345." Oh, okay.
The thing is, if an alien did land here, they'd probably, authorities and what have you, probably end up just cutting it up.
I think it would depend on how...
Or it'd be caged.
What the circumstances. Well, you would hope they wouldn't. I mean, obviously they've got to be safe. You've got to go safety first. But if the aliens got any kind of... Well, if they land here, they've got some kind of superpowers. They've got to have got here. You know.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's why there's no way we could defend ourselves against them if they were hostile. But why would they?
No.
So how long do you think everything was going on then before they started the very first year that we recorded?
Tumbleweed there again. What?
The first year that we go back to when everything started.
Well, recorded to the first year of records.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite modern, really.
Yeah, it is.
You know, the first records are cave paintings, right? Cave paintings. They're cavemen recording what they've seen and stuff.
Yes.
But they'd be happy just to catch a cow and eat it and whatever. Theirs were basic. We've come on.
We haven't gone past that anyway, have we?
Well, we have because what we can do these days is unbelievable.
Oh, right.
You know, absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, we still can't figure out how they built the pyramids.
No.
Well, no, and there's all sorts of things we don't know, which is good. I like it when it's like that. It means there's things there for us to find out.
That's one thing I'd love to do. If I could go back in time and then come back here, I'd love to go back in time, go into one of those old cave painting things and draw a guy on a mobile phone on the wall. And then come back, you know. That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant.
But if you think about how far you go back and just imagine, like, you looking at the moon and all it is something that appears in the sky.
Yeah, I've often wondered that.
End of. But it isn't. It's incredible what they've done since.
Yeah, it must be weird to not know what it is. And to, to go, why does it disappear and then why is it back? And to not even know that, and why does it get light and why does it get dark?
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But
I mean, just going back, we've got a grandson. He's 2.5. My wife's always talking to him. And she's saying, like, well, when I was a little girl, the tellies weren't like this. They were in a box, and they were only black and white. There was no colour. And my granny didn't have a telly because no one had invented one. And his eyes are like this. I know. You can't believe these little facts.
Yeah.
But they're the kind of facts that you take for granted, don't you? I mean, what can I say? Who would say 10 years ago, who would have believed I could have a conversation in real time on a phone where you can see who you're talking to and they're 7,000 miles away?
Yeah.
And it's free. I mean, all of them, it's bloody free. You know, I mean, you just...
Staggering.
Absolutely unbelievable.
So what is the next 50 years going to bring,
well,
you know?
the Elon Musk thing, isn't it? The bloody chip in the spine. Did you know about that?
No.
No, but I only heard a snippet. I'm not sure how true it is, but Elon Musk has developed this chip, which I think it's either implanted into the spine or the brain, I can't remember, to help paraplegics walk again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But also, the rumour has it that it's also, what's the word? There's a word for it. You know, where you can move things just by thinking about them.
Oh, telekinetic.
Telekinetic, yeah.
Telekinetic.
It's telekinetic. So if you are, I don't know, paralysed or whatever, or you have difficulty in getting stuff, you can just think something to move, and you can. I think obviously you'd have to wire everything up.
Yeah.
You have to Bluetooth everything you were talking about to get it to work.
There was that footage a good few years ago where a guy had lost his hand.
I was careless of him.
Yeah. And let's hope we don't lose the next one he's getting, because this costs billions. And he had to learn how to control it. But he hadn't had it actually attached to him yet. It was just on a table. And he's looking at it and they're going, okay, now close it. Make it close. And he had to work at it, but eventually got it to close. But it was on a table over there.
That is scary.
That's not. He might have actually had sort of a wires on his head and what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got to say it's great. You know, if people, you get into crashes and they lose their legs and to be able to. Well, it's the bionic man, isn't it?
Yeah. I did quite enjoy that programme.
Yeah, they're doing a remake, but somebody pointed out you can't call it the $6 million man anymore.
No, not
Be
really.
a bit more expensive than that now.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be the $6 billion man.
I mean, one of the other interesting things is one of the other interesting things is that the Americans, particularly, I think the Brits as well, are searching the universe for life constantly. I think it's called SETI, isn't it? Search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Oh, right.
And they've got all these, like, radar things all over the world, just scanning the skies for signals.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'd heard, but this was way back though, back in sort of the late 70s, that we'd sent a signal out into just sent it off. Because they just keep going, apparently.
Yeah.
And to find out if there is intelligent life. Funnily enough, music is a sign of intelligence. And what they've sent out is this. To see if they come back with...
Yeah, matching, yeah.
Because once, it's simple to send.
Yeah.
And so...
Just send a bit of Morse code. Yeah.
But when you think about it, though, it's mind-boggling. It's so, amazing.
Well, it's that thing, and then you suddenly realise how pathetically insignificant we are, or I am.
Well, you say that. I mean...
But I think how incredible we are as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear, you can,
Yeah, but you're incredible, Kev. I'm not. There's a massive difference between you and me.
No, I'll tell
Don't
you better.
sell yourself short.
I'll say you're better than that.
Don't sell yourself short. No,
I am
you're
short. I am
You're
short.
short for you,
mate.
though, for the start. And I'm certainly not.
Yeah, but it's that thing. I remember actually the first time I realised that the universe must be massive, and I know it sounds strange, but it kind of did blow my mind. When I thought,
no, you can't. I can't concentrate
My
on
God,
life.
You have to come off it in the end, otherwise
there was a thing
you're
where
loopy.
they got a Voyager, and I think it was from Voyager, where they got it to photograph each stage as it was going along the Earth, as it got further and further and further away, until eventually had to put an arrow, and it just showed this tiniest little dot that was nothing amongst all these other dots.
That was the Earth.
And you're going, that's us, by the way.
Yeah, I like watching space programs like that. I mean, Brian Cox did one recently.
That confused me at once. I was thinking, what's the actor doing science and stuff? And then it would,
Worked with him once. The actor, yeah. No, Brian, you know he's in D-Ream, don't you?
yeah.
Anyway, so he's doing this thing, and he's quite good because it's talking about the solar system and the probes that they've sent out doing these different jobs. And he was also talking about the not just the planets, but the moons that we don't know much about. And there's one moon that's got properties that no other moons have got. So that's a research as to why. And they more or less proved that underneath the top level of whatever's on top, ice, rock, whatever, there is a sea, a warmish sea, because this moon is either so close to Jupiter or Saturn that the pressure it's under heats up the inside. It warms up the inside.
So that sees things for life, isn't it?
So they reckon there's a possibility that if this underground sea, they reckon there's more water in that one bloody place than there is in the entire solar system, which is quite amazing.
That's incredible.
That was a thing about space travel and all that they were talking about. Is that if they can find, whoever they are, water on planets, they can make fuel. So they can refuel and carry on, because water is H2O, which means if you can extract the hydrogen...
Or the oxygen, or both.
Yeah, then you can fuel yourself and off.
Well, do you know,
I
I can't wait for bloody hydrogen cells for cars, because, I mean, I like my electric car, but it's eco-friendly now. It probably wasn't when it was being made, and it probably won't be when it's being scrapped.
Ah, yeah, heard about that.
Well,
Yeah.
that's one of the
But what
things.
amazes me is where the petrol came from and how long it's lasted. I find that amazing.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, we need to talk to my friend, but he died last year. I had a friend who was a geochemist, and he used to tell me stories about oil. None of the oil fields that are being farmed, for whatever it's are like to run out, because they'll just stop extracting oil after a certain amount of time. For all sorts of reasons. But while cars are predominantly petrol and diesel, they'll just keep doing it.
It's a
But
myth.
electric's amazing, isn't it? What does it do with that?
Bloody terrible. They need to put a noise on them.
Oh, no.
I used to step out in front of them all the time when I was working. Like, jeez. Yeah, I actually said, you know what I'd love them to do with an electric car is to put on the old sort of Model T Ford noise on them, so they're going pop, 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 as they're going along. I just think that'd be fucking brilliant.
I think I'd rather have a choice, and I'd pick either a Ferrari for them than a Maserati.
No, we're not allowing that. The other one I went for was na 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 as you're driving along. That'd be great. And when you blast the horn, it goes ho 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 ho. Yeah, that'd keep you out of your cars, wouldn't it? You know, there was a myth going around at one time. I don't know if whether a myth is true or not. That a guy had created the steam-powered car that could just run and run, because he'd done it so that the water would cool and then get reheated and go round again. So you hardly ever had to put water into it. But the fact that one of the major oil companies gave him a huge amount of money for the design and just put it into a safe. Said no one's having that thing. Because imagine if you could run a car on water.
Yeah, but somebody else is going to dream it up, aren't they, and invent something, surely.
Possibly, I don't know. Oh.
Wasn't there a story about a bloke in America about 20 years ago that made a car that ran on water, and then he was found dead?
Oh.
Well, that's a more likely story than somebody buying it off him.
I think I'm going to have to look this up,
It's
because...
very sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember seeing something about this. Stanley Mayer, the inventor of the water-powered car, who in 1998 got up from a table to run into a car park, and he died. And his last words were, "They poisoned me."
Oh.
And yeah, he'd essentially patented this water-powered kind of system for the car.
So if he patented it, where is it now?
Well, I don't really know. I presume that it was just kind of
It's
under
in
the
the same
carpet.
safe as the one I just mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Well,
it would
the
just-
oil companies are not going to give up their monopoly.
Well, it unstabilised the world, wouldn't it? I mean, oh man,
Well, it was still a claim. I don't know if they proved it, but he claims to have invented this car powered by water with completely clean emissions.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds very, very possible, doesn't it?
well, wasn't it
Sensible.
one of the very first cars, steam-powered car? Well, there was a steam-powered train, wasn't there? So
Yeah.
it's not that much of a leap to make a steam-powered car.
No.
Anyway,
We'd have to ask the aliens what they would drive if they came
that's
down.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bring nice
Yeah.
segue there, Pat. Yeah. Hey, we did find out what power the aliens used to get here.
I mean,
There was a plane I heard about as well that had to fly at a certain height, but once it was at that height, it could draw in what do you call it, moisture,
yeah.
and then blast it out the back and just keep going. So it
Keep going.
it only needed fuel to get up, then it didn't need fuel, and then it needed fuel to land.
I think that it's called a ramjet.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I don't know how long that would last, or how practical it would be.
Tell you what, I'd love to be doing if they did that beam me up thing
Oh God, that
to
would be.
get beamed around the world. That'd be
That'd be
brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd
Well,
get
I
rid of the
think-
car,
I
wouldn't it?
think you've got to ask Scotty about that one.
How are we doing?
That guy that got caught with contempt of court. And I think it was some drunk driving or something like that. He got said, "Oh no, not drunk. It was some petty thing he'd done." And he got fined something. He said, but you're going into prison for a few weeks and all that. And he got his cigarette packet out and went, "Beam me up, Scotty." So they gave him an extra week for contempt.
Set the car right.
Yeah, but he got a good
Okay,
laugh.
I think,
Well done, Noel.
I think we've exhausted the
Yeah,
aliens.
that was superb.
Yeah,
We
brilliant.
didn't do much talking about the aliens.
Well, we
could do it next week,
Yeah, it developed the way it developed, didn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
well, I'd always said right at the start, I said we're going to talk bollocks.
Well,
Yeah, well, we
will.
could talk about ale. Without the uns.
So was that it? We done?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
done for another week.
Okay.
Okay, bye, folks.
Bye.
Okay, talk to you later.
See you next week.
later. And that's to you aliens too.
Yep.